Manchester City on Sunday broke a 136-year-old record in English top-flight soccer, defeating West Ham by 3-1 to clinch the Premier League title for a fourth consecutive season. Now, Man City, which has now won 6 titles in 7 years, stands alone as the only English team to have won 4 straight top-flight titles. Here's a report.
English club Manchester City have once again etched their name in the history books and showed their prowess in the world of soccer. With a 3-1 win over West Ham United on the last day of Premier League season, they have won an unprecedented 4th straight English top-flight title. Another feat beside already securing treble last season. City went into the final game of the season ahead of the 6th time in 7 seasons, needing only a win to lift the crown once more, and they duly delivered. Foden, who was recently crowned the Football Writers' Player of the Year for his best ever goal-scoring season, ended any suspense after just 79 seconds. The England international arrowed a blistering drive into the top corner to ensure there was no nervous wait for the title party to get started. Foden doubled City's lead inside 20 minutes with another cool left-footed finish from Jeremy Doku's cross for his 27th goal of the season. Manager Pep Guardiola was ecstatic on leading his team to another title.
We have done something unbelievable, 6 Premier Leagues in 7 years. So it's in this country, in the modern football, with the quality of the managers, the teams and everything, it's always... So the team surprised me, the organization surprised me. It's an incredible club, well organized. All departments drive each other to the next level. And before was Liverpool to push our limits, and now have been Arsenal. So I want to congratulate for the deep of my heart for Mikel and staff, backroom staff and players and fans with an incredible season.
No side in the history of the English top flight had ever won 4 successive titles, but City have become accustomed to rewriting the record books under Pep Guardiola. The Catalan coach has masterminded 6 Premier League wins in the past 7 seasons. In 4 of those years, City have also surpassed 90 points. They were pushed this season to deny Arsenal a first title since 2003-04.
Really pleased for the way we compete all season in all competitions, even the Champions League. We didn't lose 1 game in Champions League. We are out, but the way we were out. Listen, in football, you know we are going to lose games. You have to choose the way you lose games. This is the define team. And I like the way when we lose games because it's happened. Exceptions, Aston Villa, of course, they were better and it's happened during the season many years, but rarely when we lose, we are not who we are. And that makes me feel so proud, stable and good.
The latest Premier League title success is the 3rd trophy City have won during the 2023-24 season, building on the UEFA Super Cup and FIFA Club World Cup victories earlier in the campaign. By achieving a degree of league dominance never seen before, City have made their case to be considered the greatest side English football has produced. Sports Desk, DD India.
And now to discuss more on this, I'm joined by DD India correspondent from London, Ollie Barrett. A very good evening from India, Ollie. Man City, once again, they hold the title. But Rodri says that this victory is the result of difference in mentality. How do you see this, Ollie?
It's interesting. The Manchester City mentality is clearly something pretty special, and it was referenced several times actually by several players after the game on Sunday. This idea that at the turn of the year, Manchester City's season often seems to kick into gear. There have been repeated incidents now of Manchester City really just starting to motor as the calendar year turns during the English Premier League season. And since around Christmas time, they have been very good. Clearly, Arsenal were there or thereabouts for most of the season, but once it got to the stage where it was in Manchester City's hands, that they knew that if they won all of their remaining games that they would be champions. Once it got to that point, you got the sense that Manchester City were firm favourites, because they do have that mentality that Rodri was referencing that feeds feeds through into confidence throughout the team, their ability to go out and win week after week after week. It's not just about mentality, though. Obviously there is a very talented team there, a very talented roster. You have a man that many believe is the greatest manager in the world, if not of all time, in Pep Guardiola as well. So there is a lot that goes into this beyond mentality, but I think Rodri's making a fair point there, which is that this Manchester City team does have a very strong mentality, a very strong attitude, which does see, as I said, particularly towards the end of seasons, a confidence coursing through the team that does put them in a position where they can just go and win week after week after week.
And now let's also talk about the manager. Guardiola says that he's casting doubts on continuing for yet another full term, citing lack of motivation as the reason. What makes him say so? What do you think of it?
It's very interesting to hear those comments from Pep Guardiola. He talked about how he is probably closer to leaving than he is to staying, and I think what he meant by that was simply that he's been there for many years already, and however long he remains at the club, he's probably done the majority of his stint there already. He did talk, though, about talking to Manchester City next year about what comes after the current contract that he has with the club, which expires at the end of next season. So his rivals in the Premier League know that he will be there next year at least, and he may well be there beyond that. When it comes to possible replacements for Pep Guardiola, of course, he would be very, very hard indeed to replace. The list of candidates sometimes mentioned as possible replacements include people like Zinedine Zidane, the former manager of Real Madrid, the Frenchman, Roberto De Zerbi, who's just leaving Brighton at the end of this season, has been mentioned as a possible successor. Xabi Alonso, who of course at the moment is going through a very successful season with Bayer Leverkusen and had been expected to potentially go to Liverpool next, but might Manchester City be keeping a close eye on his career in Germany and whether they might be able to take him next if Pep Guardiola were to leave the club. There are other names in the frame too, but of course it depends exactly when Pep Guardiola leaves. It depends who's on the market at that point, and as I say, it's entirely possible that he actually ends up signing a new contract.
Indeed, and this is the moment of celebration indeed for the team, as they've already created history, and the players also say so, that they don't have any hesitation in saying that they have already made a historic mark and left an impression. Thank you so much, Ollie, for joining us here and discussing the much awaited and the wonderful victory by Man City there.